The Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. The Calgary Flames were not invited to play, so they cleaned out their locker and they're heading to the golf course. Whoop, whoop. You are watching the Armchair GM Podcast.
You know, it's funny, Chris. I was barely excited about the season whatsoever. I've been pretty much just excited about the draft lottery since, I don't know, last July. But
2024.
but I gotta say, the last month or so of the season, month and a half of the season, I got excited.
There was a lot to be excited about in the last at least 3 weeks of the Calgary Flames season. There was a few storylines that really came out and took over for the season. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. Two players in particular, the obvious ones, right? In Gridden and Perek, the way they finished off the season, and it's like, wow, the future is starting to look really bright.
Yeah.
And if they can, they can have a successful draft this year and, even next, friggin' A, let's see what this team can look like in, 2028, 29 and 30 and beyond. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. I think we said this the other day. That's kind of my goal for the team in the long run, is to be on the upswing in 2028, maybe 2029. We got to stay at the bottom for a couple more years, this year, next year, maybe even the year after, but be on the upswing, be on the cusp of contention, in 2028, 2029 type of thing. And you're right. Perek, huge strides. Gridden, huge strides. I'm finally saying his name right. Matvey Gridden, not Gridin.
I don't know. Maybe he's not saying it right.
Maybe. Also, Hunter Bustevich has been just steady Eddie all year long. Like, he's had maybe 2-3 bad games, but he's played a lot of the season in the NHL. Looked really good. To a lesser extent, Yan Kuznetsov. A lot of people find it hard to be excited about a defensive defenseman, but I'm excited about him because he's a young player who took huge steps. He was supposed to be a 6th, 7th defenseman on our team, and he took strides into being a full-time top 4, like, almost instantly when he came up this year.
Yeah, I agree. His coming back from injury, he didn't look, he wasn't as effective. But leading up before that injury, it was fantastic. Like he looked like a seasoned veteran out there on most nights. And not being, in top form after an injury, I'm not worried about that. Like that's to be expected. Like, you're not going to be in top form, whenever you come back from, any sort of time off, because he was out for a number of games, right? Like,
yeah, he was out for a few weeks.
Like, yeah, he was out for like 20 games or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I still think he came back and looked good. Like, he may not have looked as awesome as he was looking, but he was.
Yeah.
I think his role changed a little bit because like, at the beginning of the season, his job was to be a young guy learning, which it's, don't get me wrong, that's still his job, but his job was to be a young guy learning, playing with Uyghur, right? Whereas when he came back, his job was to be a stabilizing factor on a pair with a young player.
Right. Yeah. It's like, okay, we set you up to kind of learn off this guy. Yeah. While you're out on injury, we got rid of him. Good luck, dude. Like, now you're the mentor.
right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he picked it up and did very well with it. Like I have no problem with what he did.
Yeah.
Like I said, he wasn't as effective, but there was still no problems, right? Like it wasn't like he was there. He certainly wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he was still
No, far
still
from
an
it.
effective player. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, we've already got into it a little bit, but one thing I wanted to talk about was do some positives and negatives from the season and kind of a
Mhm.
post-mortem type of thing. I don't think there's a lot to talk about, but there's a few things, and I want to ask you what your biggest positive is. We haven't talked about this previously, but I think we're probably going to have the same thing to talk about. But yeah, what's your biggest positive from this season?
Um, I mean, okay, like can I list three? Are you okay with me listing three, or do you want me to just do my number one? The
Off the cuff, man. Do what you're going to do.
Okay, so so for me, because Perek has already been in the limelight as being a future superstar, I'm not going to say how well he progressed, though he did
Hmm.
as, as my top. He did very well. Like I ripped on him for the first couple of months of the season for
Rightfully
being a
so.
defensive liability, and all that stuff. The last couple of weeks,
Still better than
he
Carlson
he was
defensively.
he was not that.
Yeah,
He made huge strides defensively, which for me is unreal. And that freaking
and
goal that he
offensively,
scored in the last game was like it was absolutely disgusting. It was
disgusting. Yeah,
yeah, we were doing a live and it's not very often that I go, wow,
yeah.
because it was that impressive. Um the the season um that we had in between the pipes was interesting. I did not foresee Cooley coming out and being as effective as he was.
Yeah,
Especially early on in the season where Wolf was kind of struggling, a bit. He wasn't nearly the same goal he was last year. Obviously, again by the end of the season, he was right into form and was looking very good. I'm also not going to pick that as my number one, being Cooley coming in a backup role and really kind of stealing the show for the first couple of months of the season. That was phenomenal. Um, I am, however, going to suggest that Gradin is, in my opinion, the highlight of the season because I did not see him being this good.
hmm,
I hope that he can continue with this trend and that he doesn't take any steps back because if we're just seeing a glimpse of what this kid is going to be in the future, buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like, and that's so effectively what I'm going to say is my number one is players took some huge strides in the organization, and that's exactly what you and I said last year, that we don't care if they lose games, we don't care how ugly it gets. We want to see players progressing and learning to be NHL players. And that is exactly how the season ended off. The last month, we saw numerous Flames kind of seeing the light and taking those steps, and that was really refreshing to see.
yeah. No, I agree with all of that, and my biggest thing is going to tie into those things, but it's on a grander scheme.
Mhm.
Um, my I'm going to start with my second biggest thing. My second biggest thing was Huska actually was my second biggest thing, which is strange because a lot of people rip on Huska, but I believe that when the mandate changed from we are trying to win, when Conroy and Maloney and whoever the fuck else told him it's time to switch your coaching style, your the players you rely on, he went from overplaying all of the vets to Perek getting 22, no, between 18 and 22 minutes most nights. Brustevich getting, 18 to 20 minutes. Gradin getting like, I believe it was 15 to 20 minutes most nights. and that's
Mhm.
because the mandate changed. Um, I'm very, very worried that at the beginning of next year, they're going to go back to the old mandate because that's how Murray Edwards works. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I just have this like sick feeling in the back of my head that it might. Uh, but that's my second biggest thing, and my biggest thing is that the mandate changed. So
Right.
it's two bigger scale things. The mandate changed, and they took steps towards a real rebuild, not this rebuild, not this um on the fly
Yeah.
thing. They shipped out two players that you and I did not think they would ship out. They shipped
Mhm.
out Nazem Kadri, who was a leader on the team, who was had several years left and everybody loved apparently. They shipped out
Mhm.
Mackenzie Weegar, who everybody loved apparently, and was a leader on the team and had term left. Right? They
Yeah.
did things that they don't usually do when it comes to Conroy doing those things and being allowed to do those things. That's my biggest positive takeaway from the season is
Yeah.
they actually chose a lane. They went into that lane and there doesn't seem like they're going to get out of it for the
Yeah.
next little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we knew that Anderson was going to be leaving the organization. I didn't think he was going to be signing a contract and stuff, so that wasn't really a surprise.
That's why I didn't mention him because he was expiring.
Yeah,
That's something that they've done before, right?
but that,
Hannafin,
but that's
Lindholm, blah, blah, blah. They've done that with expiring guys. They haven't done that with leaders on term.
agreed. And by they, you have to only give credit to one man because they, as an organization, did not do that in the past. Where Conroy has made damn sure that if you're expiring, we're either signing you now or at least there's negotiations and they're starting to look good or
Yeah.
you're out. And that is the best way to approach that for any GM. You cannot risk losing assets for nothing.
Yeah.
That's stupid. If you do that, you have no position or shouldn't have a position in the NHL in the top league in the world for a sport. If you can't manage your assets, get out.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain point, like, are either of us going to be mad if Backlund retires a Flame?
I don't I mean, yes, I consider him an asset. I don't feel like the return is enough for a player like him for what he brings right now with the leadership
Yeah.
and and honestly, I want him to retire a Flame. I want him to be able to say that he played his entire career for one organization. He leads the team in games and everything else that comes along with that. I
Mhm.
want him to have that I want him to have that key to the city and get the recognition I think he truly deserves. So I mean, for him, I want that for him. So for like that's a non-issue for me, especially
However,
with
a
the
lot
amount
of
of cap
people
space we
would
have.
say that not trading Backlund would be before he retires would be a mistake when it comes to asset management. I
Yeah.
don't think so because when you draft a player, the
Mhm.
like to me, the best case scenario is that player is a productive, good player on your team for their entire career.
Yeah, yeah, he's still productive,
That's totally for
right?
that's you know,
That's all you can ask,
that's
right?
fine. Yeah.
Like he's still productive. Third on the team for points, albeit only 43. So it's not like it wasn't phenomenal, but it's not his fault that the rest of the team couldn't outscore him more than Coronado at 45 points. So like he's still productive. His leadership is top notch. The charity work he does within the Calgary Flames um, arena, as well as in the community, like yeah, for him, like as far as asset management, I mean I get it, I suppose, I just don't think the return would be high enough to really go to somebody that has been that loyal to the organization and ask them to move them. Personally, I think that would look bad, poorly, in my opinion.
Now, if he asks to move, you do it.
Absolutely.
But I
Yeah,
don't think.
yeah, you got to respect that. If he asks and he wants to go win a cup, yeah, of course, Mike. Here you go. Yeah.
So yeah, my biggest ones were the change in mandate and how the coach handled the change in mandate. Because as much as I was frustrated with how Huska was not playing certain guys at the beginning of the season, or not playing them much at the beginning of the season, and overloading other guys, especially when guys like Uyghur and Kadri were awful for long stretches, and all that type of stuff. Like, I was upset with that, but that was what the mandate was at the time. The mandate was try and get in the playoffs, and that's how almost any coach tries to get in the playoffs. And then the mandate changed. Ryan Huska started playing the young guys more, and those guys subsequently took steps. Like you were saying, that's one of your positives out of the season, is the young guys taking steps, and that's huge to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on to one of my negatives now, unless you have another positive you want to talk about.
No, that's all good. Go for it.
Okay. And it's kind of hypocritical, because once the mandate changed, Connor Zary still got treated like a piece of shit. Now, was he playing great from the fourth line? Maybe not. Some nights, sure. Probably not most nights. Are you expected to play great when your line mates are Lomberg and fucking whoever? You can play great and still not do much, right? And he still got, healthy scratch. He still got, let's start you on the first line right wing and move you down, and then put you on center, and then put you on the left wing, and then put you back on the right wing. And like, I just felt like the whole season, even after the mandate changed, he wasn't given like 2 or 3 games with consistent line mates. And we talked about this several times during the season. He wasn't given any chances with consistent line mates on a consistent position for even a full game or 2, I truly feel that way. And I just feel like it would probably be hard to no matter what industry you're in, it would be hard. Like, I go back to when I was working in kitchens. If you switch your station every day, if your entire crew changes every day, you can do well, but you have no chemistry with anyone. Right?
Yep. Yeah, you feel Zari for you is exactly how a chunk of the Flames fan base feels about Bennett when he was here. Right?
Me,
Where
Bennett caused a lot more of his own bullshit, where he took bad penalties and then got moved down. Zary never really took a bunch of bad penalties. Now, again, he didn't always play the best. So it's on both, right? It's on the player and the coach.
Yeah. So you immediately went after Bennett, not saying like you went after him, but you immediately made an excuse for it. And I'll throw one back at you, because I don't feel for Zary nearly as much as you do. Zary didn't earn anything. He did not look good in majority of this season. And he's supposed to be in that middle leadership, potential top 6 role. He didn't look like he belonged in any of that position for a big chunk of the season.
For most of the season, yeah.
You're right, it wasn't due to penalties, but his play on ice was piss poor for a lot of it. And so,
See, I don't think it was piss poor. I think it wasn't great. I don't think it
right.
was bad. I think it was
Mm.
incredibly average.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give
Which
you
still
average for
doesn't
sure.
earn you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think he should have been dropped to the fourth. That's not where I'm going with that.
Healthy scratch.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, not above other players that like the players that the coaching staff chooses to give accountability for is bizarre in my opinion. Like he at least put forth effort most times. He just yeah. I mean, he did have some really good games. There's like, oh yeah, there's the Zeri from 2 years ago, sweet. And then he would just kind of become invisible again, and it was like, fuck, man. And so,
I think the
and
strange thing was those games where he did look really, really good. There was,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe 10 of them all year. That's being
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah,
He then got moved down the next game,
right.
right? It wasn't like, and there were other times where he got moved up and looked bad or average and got moved down, and that's fair. But there was
Mhm.
a few times where he looked really good on a line, a middle six line, and
Mhm.
then the next game he got moved back down, and that was
Right.
frustrating to me.
I feel like there's more to the Connor Zary story than what we're seeing.
I
I
think
feel
the
like
coaching
there's
have a
something
little.
behind. Yeah, I feel like there's something behind the scenes that we're not privy to. Whatever it may be. I'm assuming it's nothing too egregious. He's still on the team, right? So,
Mhm.
but I
Well,
feel like there's a rift there in some capacity, which is
um,
which
I'm
is unfortunate.
afraid.
Like you don't want it to stifle the player, right? Like that's dumb if that's happening. Right? That
I'm
shouldn't be
sorry.
happening.
I'm not afraid that he gets traded and becomes the player that I think he can be. I'm afraid that he gets traded and then becomes a free agent at some point, and then some other team takes a chance on him, and that team is like Vancouver or Edmonton or Vegas or one of our rivals, right? I'm afraid of that because I still see the puck carrying hound every so often that
Mhm.
really made, I think, both of us kind of fall in love with him at the beginning of his tenure when he was playing with
Yeah.
Pospisil and Kadri
Hmm.
a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
I still see that so often. It's the finishing that's not there anymore, and he still like carries the puck and shields, um, protects the puck. I guess would be the way to say that,
Hmm.
um, pretty well. But what he doesn't do is be in front of the net and behind the goalie scoring goals like he used to be.
Yeah.
Right? I wonder if he's
Yeah.
afraid because of the injuries, even though none of
Well,
his injuries really came from the net.
no, they didn't. But I mean, that's a grueling part of the game, especially if you're in the center position, right? Ask none other than Sean Monahan about what it's like to be a guy that isn't afraid to get physical and take a beating in front of the net and try and dig for the puck. Like so, I mean, I do get it. He's had some pretty egregious injuries in the past, like 3 different leg injuries, and so I mean, I get that. So it's weird that he still pushes to drive the net on occasion more so than the fact that he has issues finishing, right? You would think it would be the other way around,
Yeah.
right? But I mean,
I'm
that being
gonna
said,
make a
like he's
prediction
only
that he
played
gets traded.
190 games, right? He's only played 190 games in the NHL. It's not like there's no reason to write off Connor Zary.
No,
Um,
I still think
so
he's gonna get traded.
I think so too. I think I
I
feel
don't want him to.
Connor Zary is if there is something going on behind the scenes as far as him and Huska, give him a chance to succeed somewhere else and get something back for him, right? Like there's no like I don't worry about a player that gets all of a sudden, finds their game again somewhere else. I mean, that happens all the time where
And
all
it's
they needed
great
is
for
a
most
different.
players. I just worry it's Vancouver or Edmonton or some shit.
Yeah.
Because he's a
Yeah.
Western Canadian boy specifically.
Mhm.
Well, central Saskatchewan, right? But
Yeah.
so before we get to your negative or negatives, because that's really the main one I had this year, other than Maloney, but we don't need to fucking rehash that. Everybody knows. Um, I want to, and again, I talk about Zeri way too much. Everybody knows this. You didn't watch the exit interviews yet, right?
No, I've watched a couple of them, but I certainly haven't grabbed them all yet.
Did you see what Zeri said?
No, I didn't.
He, without saying Huska's name, I'm not going to quote him, but without saying Huska's name, he basically said the coaching staff needs to give the young players chances.
Hmm.
Which, to be fair, they didn't for the first 3 or 2/3 of the season, and then they did.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's wrong, but I also think he needs to hold, like we were saying, because I try and like even when I have a specific feeling one way or the other, I still try and be objective about it a little bit most of the time. But you know,
Yeah.
he does need to hold his end of the bargain up a little bit more than he
Yeah.
has been.
Mhm.
However, he's not wrong, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm interested to see next year when Huberdeau's back. Maybe they say Huberdeau's going to be back. That's another thing that was said in the exit interviews. Huberdeau said he left halfway through the season because he wanted to be back for next year. That injury, I truly believe Huberdeau is going to be in and out of the lineup for a couple years, kind of 40 to 60 games. But I'm curious to see if Zeri doesn't get traded this offseason. I'm really curious to see how Huska uses him. Right? I want to see if what Zeri said, because he said it. I think him and Gridden were doing the interviews at the same time, and Gridden like nodded in agreement, which is funny because I thought
Yeah.
Gridden got a huge chance this year. But
I thought so too. Yeah.
I'm interested to see if there's like a butting of heads with those two when it comes to Zeri and Huska, or if Huska actually gives him like, because like even if it's fourth line, just keep him there, keep him with the same players on the same fucking line for like 5 or 6 games. Just that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Let him
Yeah.
let him gain some momentum.
I think I think it's funny that somebody that's granted he is only 24 years old, right?
Yeah.
Turns 25 this summer.
But that
But
should
he's
be a player's prime.
100%.
Yeah.
But he's also approaching that he's not the young guy anymore. So there's a couple of ways you can take it.
Especially
Maybe
on
he's sticking up for he's sticking up for his teammates and wants the young guys to get a chance, which I appreciate. I think that's a great idea. Especially in these years right now where we're trying to give these players a chance so we can see what we have before going to the draft floor, because it's great that teams bring up players for the last game or two of the season to kind of see, but that's not enough of a sample size, right?
Yeah,
In
Karen
my
needed more of a shot.
I think so, right? Is he going to be with the organization in a year? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like,
He's an RFA,
this
so
last was
probably, but
being an RFA, but maybe he's part of a package. I mean, who knows, right? What the future holds for Karen's in the Flames organization. I would like to see him be given a a bigger chance to succeed and be part of the organization. I do like him as a player.
yeah, me
Um,
too.
I just think he needs more minutes to figure out the NHL. It's a different game than the AHL. It is what it is. But I do think it's kind of comical that he would say that, but there's also potential that he's actually saying it about himself, but he's getting to the point where he's not the young player anymore. He's turning into what needs to, start being the veteran and the leader and the, like, prove your work and you'll get those minutes sort of guy. You can't always be on the coach, right? Sometimes you have to prove yourself.
Yeah, and I do think he's still on the young side of veteran, but he's entering
Mhm.
veteran, right? Like
For
you
sure.
said, and I think there might need to be a little bit more of holding himself accountable
Mhm.
from his side. You know, career marred by injuries, just completely decimated by injuries, whether it be in junior or his first year when his first pro year when he got hit by a puck in preseason and broke his
Right.
ankle or something, and then was only able to play the last third of the year or whatever in the AHL, and then came up to the NHL, had a really good first year, and then got two horrific knee injuries in the second year. Like,
Yeah.
there's that, but there's also, why are you not stepping up this year? Right? Why are you
That's
not
right.
giving the coach no excuse like Gridden did? Right? No excuse but to put you in top 6 minutes or middle
You know,
6 minutes or even have you in the fucking lineup.
that's right.
Right?
You you'll find in professional sports, minor sports, any job anywhere in the world, the people that succeed are always the people that take personal responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And take ownership for their own actions and realize this is where I'm at. This is where I need to be. They say the things and they do the things to get there,
They
right?
use they use
Right?
fails to get better.
That's right.
For
Right?
that was a
You're not
dumb
going to
way
get
to say
better
that.
blaming oth- yeah, yeah. You're not going to get better blaming other people ever
Yeah.
in any part of your life. Like, if you want to get better, then you do the things that make it better. If you want to move up and play more minutes, show the coach you deserve those minutes. Obviously, when you're kind of getting into the 24-year range, you're usually given a little more slack, i.e., look at, Farabee and Frost, you know what I mean? Like they weren't, Frost especially was not very productive. Once Kadri was shipped out, Frost was kind of pushed into a bigger role. He
And
did,
ran with
did
it.
well with it. That's right. Right. Like he took that and I mean, his last couple of weeks,
Frost is
fucking
also
great.
3 years older than Zeri, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is
Yeah.
also not that it matters anymore, but he's also like 10 picks higher in the draft, roughly. Not that it matters anymore because that was 8 years ago, but
That's right.
9 years ago. But
That's right.
um,
He also got 20 more points.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, exactly. But was also almost always in the top 6.
Fair point. Yeah.
Which he deserved on this team. And honestly, on this team, Zeri should have been able to take that.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah. He
let's
played
move on to
just
your
over
negative,
he
unless you
just
have a
he
final thought.
played more. Frost played just over a minute more on average than Zari.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Frost is only at 15:30, which is interesting because a
What?
big chunk of his minutes moving forward after that were because of Kadri being shipped out. Yeah, 15:30.
Yeah, I guess Kadri and Backlund took most of the center minutes, and
Yep.
Zeri. Yeah, because Zeri also had lots of games where he was on the second line wing, first line other wing, third line center, fourth line center. So like, right.
Yeah.
So you get more minutes, but you don't get the time to jive with your line mates. But you're
Yeah.
still getting the opportunity. It's so weird, man. It's such a
It's,
weird situation.
Zeri's weird in that aspect because yes, you want him to have consistent line mates because obviously that's how you build chemistry. But you also want to put the player in a position so they can get better
Any
at it.
yes.
Just a position. Just pick a fucking position. If you want to make him a center, make him a center. If you want him to
Fucking
be a
make him
wing,
back up
make him a
goalie.
wing.
No.
Right? Yeah. Like it's just that's for me the line mates. I do agree, but for me, it's when you're putting him in a different position on the ice. Every second shift is just like, what are you doing?
Your
Like,
habits have to change, especially when it's
Hmm.
like when you're left wing, right wing, you can shift. It's probably not easy. I don't know. I'm not a professional hockey player, but I'm
Mm.
guessing it's easier to shift your habits from left wing to right wing because you're just doing the same shit on a different side of the ice. You just have to remember not to scoot over,
Yeah. Right.
which is probably tough in theory. But when you go to center for a few shifts or a game or two and then get shifted off, your responsibilities at center are so much bigger.
Mhm.
And I don't just mean face-offs, but also face-offs, right?
Yeah.
But your responsibilities when it comes to um defense and covering for defensemen in the offensive zone, especially when you have guys like Anderson and Perek on your team,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. When you have guys that can do that.
Because when like look at Backlund, when Backlund's on the ice and Perek is in the offensive zone, or for years when Anderson was in the offensive zone behind the net, Backlund's at the point almost every
Yeah.
fucking time, right?
Yeah.
But when you're a winger, maybe not every time, maybe every fifth or sixth time, right? So it's
Apparently, when we're in our zone, if you're a winger, like say, I know I'm just gonna grab a name out of nowhere, Coronado. You do you just do circles around the hash mark while your teammates go and dig for the puck in hopes that they can send you on a streaking breakaway.
yeah,
Sorry,
and
that was a dig.
yeah, no, I know. I just want to say to Coronado's, we haven't mentioned him at all this episode, but
I was about
I
to.
thought that the first, like, I don't know, 5/6 of the season for him was not good. But the last few weeks, he became much better. He started creating those opportunities that he was doing last year from the defensive zone. And I think part of it, I'm really curious to see if him and Frost are a product of Gridden, of how good they played for the last since the deadline, since Kadri got
Mhm.
moved and they got put together. I'm curious how much of their success is off of Gridden, and I'm really going to study that next year because obviously you need chemistry with your line mates, and that's important. But if it's all Gridden or mostly Gridden, we got a fucking player.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think we have a player, but like
Yeah.
there's
If
a
you can
chance
prove it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
I want to get to your last negative,
So
or if you have more.
for me, I'm gonna say the way the season ended compared to what was trying to be attempted, at least in my opinion, to start the year, was a lot more of the same old, bringing back the old veterans, trying to make a push. You know, go through the season. Let's see where we're at the deadline. Do we need to add or do we need to subtract? Right. And so I'm glad that certain things happened that forced the hand, like a couple of injuries like Huberdeau and things like that, right? So it kind of forced it a bit,
Mhm. To a point, yeah.
um, to a point. But that's my biggest fear through this summer is signing a couple more of these 30 to 35-year-old players.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like bringing back Hanley and Bean made no sense to me whatsoever.
Well,
We
Bean
just
was signed, but Bean is
he,
not signed
yeah,
anymore, so he's
yeah, he's yeah,
hopefully the fuck out.
right. Or
Hanley is
or he
signed.
gets an extension, right? Or he gets an extension, right? That's a fear that I have. Then the last name is part of this organization, and
Not
that freaks
anymore,
me out.
I believe.
He's not around at all.
I think he got let go. I could be wrong, but I think he got let go at least from his position last year.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. But John
I hope
Bean
you're
is
not.
still Don Maloney's bestie. So
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
So okay. So that being said, so I didn't like how I didn't like how the organization was trending to start the season. Obviously, the ending worked out great, and I'm super stoked and happy about it. That being said, there were a couple of players that I wanted to see more progression, and quite frankly, they took turns the other direction. One being Coronado. Yes, he did finish the year being better, but
I agree for the
his
most
year, like his year as a whole, was not good, which is bizarre because he did finish the season being number one in points, right? Which is just bizarre. So
hilarious. Yeah.
he's one of those players where he frustrates you. Oh God, he scored. Okay, not sure where that came from. And then you watch him again, you're like, God damn it, Matt, hurry up, because he lost speed. Last year, that was one of his biggest things is how hard he fought for the puck all the time. So he lost a lot of speed, which is concerning to me. I don't understand how you lose that much speed in a calendar year. There, Sharon Govich, I do want to see more from. I feel like he made changes to his game and became a very productive player, and I hope that he can continue being that. Where
Very productive is very liberal.
right,
He became a NHL player, I guess.
I'll say he became yes, he became
Sorry,
an
Michael. I
NHLer
know
this
you're
year.
obsessed with the guy, but he's
He became an NHLer, but in my opinion, he also became a really good line mate because he shifted to actually fighting for the puck and using his line mates and being better at setting guys up.
yeah, that
Um,
I'll give you for
a-
sure.
yeah. So that, I mean, that's a positive, but I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a couple of the guys that over the last
Consistency.
consistency agreed over the last couple of seasons where I'm just be like, okay, these guys, if they just take another step, will actually be really good players, but they haven't. Right? Coronado went backwards. Sharon Govich was riding like a roller coaster, up and down and up and down. Right?
Like
Some
like
games you're
like
like, holy shit, he's a world beater. Next game
like
is
a
like,
roller
where the fuck
coaster
did he
with a
go?
couple of boulders in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
had a couple of highs, but it's kind of stagnated a couple times in the low to
Yeah.
mid part.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I don't disagree that he started fighting for the puck more. Started becoming more of a team guy when it comes to fighting for the puck and all that type of stuff. But to me, that's the bare minimum,
Right.
So he became bare minimum. And I don't know if you remember, but when we acquired him, I was extremely excited
Mhm.
because I watched him in New Jersey in his first year, and I was their second year, but I was super excited. I believe Coleman was still in New Jersey at the time, maybe, but I could be wrong. But either way, I
When
watched him the 1 year that he kind of took off in New Jersey, and I was super happy. I was super duper happy with that.
yeah,
Actually, I don't think Coleman was in New Jersey at that time, but either way,
no.
um, like, and I was super pumped that we got him, but no, he had that really good season where he he was ripping one timers and he was getting passes and all that type of stuff. And this year he just kind of went downhill. Well, last year he went downhill, and this year he kind of like slowly went uphill. It's a couple of downs, but I don't know.
Which
I don't know what
I-
we have with him still. Like I just think that the word inconsistent gets used and the word consistency gets used a lot for a lot of different players who are
Mhm.
consistent at being inconsistent. And I think that's what Sharangovich is. He's consistently inconsistent. So what does that leave you with? That leaves you with a guy who you just have no fucking clue what you're going to get out of that night.
Yeah, and that's a problem, right? I mean, if you look at this year's body of work for Sharangovich, he had 2 less goals than last year. He had 1 less assist than last year, giving him 3 less points. Last year he was a -9. This year he was a -20. You know, took 2 more penalties. Like it was just, it just wasn't. As a whole for the season, it just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Him and Coronado just they got their nice pay raises, and then where did they go? They're nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You got Coronado who's paid 6.5 now till 2031.
Isn't he 7? I thought he was 7 for some reason. 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think we have a player in Coronado who is worth 6.5.
Yeah.
Eventually, and
Hopefully
luckily
we have a
money doesn't
consistent
matter to
like,
us currently. But
yeah.
I think how many goals did he have this year?
Coronado?
Yeah, 20
Hmm.
20-ish, just like
18.
18. Okay, I think he's probably going to be like a 20-25 guy most of his career, and then kind of hit 30 a couple times. I think he's got that in him, and I think these days 6.5, that's almost a steal.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I agree with you. He left a lot to be desired defensively, which is one of the reasons both you and I were so happy with him last year, is his battle level defensively. And I've already said it this episode, but it really led to more opportunities for him and his line mates, right?
Mhm.
Because he was very good on the counterattack, and he was also good at kind of like Lindholm was in that, like not to the same effect, but kind of like Lindholm was in the 2022 season, where he did something really crafty defensively, and then kind of hung back and snuck into the zone and got a nice pass from somebody because he had snuck in behind all the defensive coverage and got a goal.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
Coronado was doing a lot last year that he didn't really do until the last couple weeks this year.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that continue, that trend from the last couple weeks continue.
Yeah, I agree. I see a lot of that laziness um with Farabee as well. When the play
Ooh.
is being dug around in the corner, you see him start doing these circles where he's getting ready to streak up the ice with the pass, and it's just like, no, get back in your fucking zone and be active in this
See, it's funny because I
defense that
find him to be a pretty good defensive player.
he is. I agree. But then if there's any sort of maybe a sign that we're gonna come away with the puck, then he starts immediately going up. It's like, dude, like you gotta make sure, because then he'll do two of these laps and then have to come back and start getting back into play. And I watch him do this all the time, and it really frustrates me. But but I mean, yeah, and I've never really expected that much from him. So I guess
I didn't either. We're getting way more out of Farabee than I expected, and we're getting
Mhm.
out of Frost just to tie up the Flame stuff. I kind of want to move off of the Flame stuff
Yeah.
after this, but um, with Frost, I feel like we're getting kind of what I expected out of him, which is consistently inconsistent, but better than than
Right.
Sharon Govich.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just like marginally, but good enough to be a top 6 player on this team.
And this,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Let's move on to our brackets. So I know it's
Yep.
been a couple days of playoffs already, but both of us, I believe, did our brackets before the playoffs started. I definitely
Yeah.
did a couple days before the playoffs or the day before the playoffs started.
Yep.
Let's get into it. Let's get into yours first.
Mine first. Which one is that? Is that one is this one?
Okay.
All right.
So
It's
it
a
looks
little
like
bit different than yours, right?
it's a lot different than mine, but we'll go through yours first. So you've got obviously Colorado beating the Kings 4-1, and you've only got Dallas winning one game. I didn't notice that. Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm big on Minnesota as well, but one game, that's crazy.
I didn't expect Ottinger to look as good as he did last night. I tell you that.
Yeah.
That was that was that was probably some of the best goaltending I've seen of him. Granted, I haven't seen that much of his games, but that was pretty impressive last night.
Yeah. Now, the Utah thing doesn't shock me because I am almost positive I put Utah over Vegas. We'll see in a minute, but I just think they're faster.
Yeah.
Are they playing tonight? I think they might be playing tonight.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Anyways, I think they're faster and younger, and they're just going to tire the Knights out. But we will see. That I believe the Knights are up 1-0 in the series. I see you've got Anaheim over Edmonton, and I feel like you're guessing
That's
with
a
your
that's a
heart and not your head.
that's a spite pick, is what they
Yeah.
call that.
That's fair. That's fair. I want my bracket to be wrong on that one so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buffalo beating Boston, which last time I
It's
checked,
tied.
it was 4-0 Boston tonight. So I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
guessing they
Series is tied.
held on and won. Tampa over the Habs
From
for
Montreal.
2. I believe that one
I
is
uh,
tied now
I
as well.
it is. I picked Tampa solely based on playoff goaltending.
Yep. Yep. Dobish hasn't been bad, but
No, he hasn't. But I mean, he's going up against a juggernaut when it comes to
Tampa Bay.
playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got Carolina 4-1 over Ottawa.
I figured I would throw Ottawa a game.
Fair enough.
I still think it's going
Um,
to be a waste of 8 days.
fair enough. And you've got Pittsburgh losing to Philly 4-3. Who won that game last night? Is it tied or is it Philly winning 2-0?
Phillies 2-0.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good bracket. We're gonna hold ourselves to these predictions. Obviously, you've got Colorado
Mm.
over Carolina in the finals, and the only real thing I have to say about this, because really a lot of these series could go either way, is Dallas only winning one is insane to me, and
Yeah.
Carolina getting past the conference finals is insane to me because they just
Just because they can't
refuse to
do
do
that.
that. They fucking
Fair.
refuse. Uh,
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
fair.
That is fair. I mean, it's like they could be the greatest team on the planet and they cannot get to that next step, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like, well, that was Minnesota's problem forever too, right? Congratulations on your first round exit.
Yeah. And honestly, I could see Colorado. I mean, obviously they destroyed the regular season,
Mhm.
and they've chosen the right thing, which is starting Scott Wedgwood because he is the better goalie.
Mhm.
So I'm impressed with that. Also, the hot take in the Colorado and LA series is what you did, which is giving LA a game.
Right? Yeah.
I did not do
Right.
that. Let's go over the mine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so yours don't show up with the games. Why is that?
I don't know, but I can tell you what I did because I remember.
Yeah, now that we're a couple of games in, I
Well,
see what's happening.
and I'm gonna hold myself to it because
Mm.
there's two of them that are definitely wrong. Well, not definitely wrong, but probably wrong. Since we've gone a
Oh
couple days
man,
into playoffs, but
man, I see one in the East for sure. That's
yeah,
gonna be a tough. That's gonna be such a tough series for Ottawa.
actually, I'm gonna pull it
Honestly,
up on my phone just so I remember everything that I said. But I definitely had Colorado sweeping NHL bracket challenge right here. View brackets right here. Great podcasting. Yeah, so I have Colorado winning 4-0. I have Minnesota winning 4-3.
okay.
I have Utah winning 4-3. I have Edmonton unfortunately winning 4-2. I
It's
have
probably closer to the reality, I would say.
yeah. I have Buffalo winning 4-2. I could see that one going 7 actually, but I have it in 6.
Mhm.
I have Tampa Bay winning 4-1.
Yeah,
I have Ottawa winning 4-3. That's
yeah,
one of them.
that's it.
And I have Pittsburgh winning 4-2, which seems like the longest stretch right now, considering Philly's up
A
2.
reverse sweep.
So they'd have to do the reverse sweep at this point.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah,
I think it's
that's what my bracket
interesting
looks
that
like.
I think
Sorry.
it's interesting that you have Minnesota beating Dallas in 7 while also beating Colorado, the Oilers, and Tampa to finish off the. I feel like
So
I feel
after
like the.
you mentioned this,
Uh,
but after I finished my bracket, like the day after
mhm,
I looked at it and I'm like, holy shit, look at that path.
yeah,
But if they do that, that might be the most deserving cup champion
yeah.
in
There,
recent history.
there would not be an asterisk on that. I can assure you.
No, absolutely not. But I think that that team is so good. The only thing is like their centers, right? Joel Eriksson Ek,
Mm,
probably a really good playoff center. Ryan Hartman, a good playoff center. Are either of them number one centers? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Uh, but they have such good winger depth. This is a prediction that's not being shown on here, but I have Matt Boldy getting the obviously he's already done this, but the gold medal winning goal
Mhm.
and the Stanley Cup winning goal. I am
Mm.
such a big fan of that player. He is
He's
so
a
fucking
stud. He is an absolute stud. And if you look at some of the additions that Minnesota did this year too, with Hughes
good.
and guys like that, like I mean, they're
Dude,
poised
dude,
to.
their blue line,
Yeah,
Hughes,
sick.
Faber, that goal by Faber, oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah,
Hughes, Faber, Spurgeon, Brodeen. That's their top 4. All of those
yeah,
players could easily be a number 1 on half the league,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That is
yeah.
amazing.
Are you talking about that goal last night?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think it was the first game. I can't remember which game it was,
yeah,
but he basically scored it from the front of the net. He got a wicked pass from Hughes and kinda,
yeah, yeah. That was last night.
dangled.
That,
Yeah,
I texted. I got a guy at work, a buddy of mine. He's been a Wild fan forever, and I mean, as soon as he scored that, that's all I texted him was, "Wow."
yeah,
Like that was gross.
yeah,
That was fantastic. I love seeing shit like
absolutely.
that.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I got Tampa going because it's Tampa. I got Buffalo going to the second round because fuck, that would be awesome.
Right.
I'd like to see Ottawa get there. It doesn't look like they're gonna, but I don't know. Whoever plays against Carolina in the third round is going to win if Carolina gets there. But that's just how it is.
It's
But
guaranteed win night, eh? So,
yeah,
jeez.
but I don't know. I just, out of all the American teams, I'm a big Wild fan. Kaprizov is electric. Boldy's electric. Their blue line is silly.
Yeah.
They have two goalies that could win, that can steal games. They have two goalies that can steal games. Are there
Yeah.
any? I don't think there's a single. Well, actually, Buffalo, Lekanen and Lyon can
Like,
steal a
yeah.
game.
Did you
Uh,
hear what PK called him during the intermission tonight?
no, but PK has Edmonton and Montreal in the finals because he played for Montreal and he's Canadian, so he has no
Yeah.
objectivity whatsoever
No, but
and
he
horrible
called
pants.
like he called him leak it in because he was leaky.
Oh,
I'm
I
just like,
actually
that's
really,
bad, PK. Come on, just
I
somebody
I
cut
like
his
that.
mic off. Yeah, gonna call him
Um.
leak it in.
Anyway, so you have, who do you have again? We have different finals. Holy shit! So you have Colorado over Carolina.
Yeah,
How many
I
games?
think this is the year. I think this is the year they Carolina finally makes it past. Um, it doesn't even show it.
No. Well, that I don't think they gave games. They just gave goals scored, which you said
Yeah.
29.
What did you say
Um,
for goals with the
I can't remember. You'd have to look back. I want to say 30 something.
yours doesn't show information, remember?
Oh, well, I'll look at it then. 38.
Yeah, 38. Yeah, Carolina, or I mean Tampa versus Minnesota. I can see 38.
Yeah,
I just feel like Carolina plays a much more stifling defensive game than most.
they do
It's kind
for
of
sure.
my not that they're really going to stop uh, the firepower of the Avalanche. I think in that scenario,
Yeah,
but I mean, I think like when it comes to Pittsburgh and Philly, that one's going to come down to goaltending.
yeah.
Um, I think the same thing of
Bednar's look good.
he has, yeah, and good for him. I think the same of Tampa and the Habs, as well as I feel the same when it comes to, and that's really one of the deciding factors I put into my
All of it.
mindset is goaltending in the Anaheim Oilers series. I know Edmonton has the firepower. Everybody knows that. But I
That's
think it's
totally
going to
fair.
come
That's
down.
why I gave Anaheim games is because of Pickard
Yeah,
and Ingram
yeah,
and
yeah. Like
Jerry
that's
for some reason.
like, yeah, like that's not who you want to roll into playoffs with, right?
Yeah.
But
But yeah, also
they're in the
Dostal's
playoffs for
been
now.
not
So,
great recently. And the Ducks
yeah.
have been, what I put into my Ducks and Oilers series was the Ducks have been awful, like bad. I think they won
Mhm.
like 3 out of their last 12. They limped
Yeah,
right in.
they were going like gangbusters, and then something happened, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this is like right around the deadline, right? Or even coming back from the Olympic break, they just kind of started failing. Yeah.
Well, those are our picks. Curious how
There it
you
is.
guys feel about the Flames season. Let us know in the comments section down below what your positives and negatives were. And let us know who you have winning all the series, the first round series, and even the Stanley Cup in the comment section down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, all the Spotify and all that type of stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on X, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Reddit, all that type of stuff. And yeah, Blue Sky as well. Almost no action on Blue Sky because it's Blue Sky, but still, we're on there.
Blue sky. I don't even have an I don't even have an account.
Yeah, I have a Flames Armchair GM podcast account, and that's it.
Nice. Well, join up.
Follow us.
Blue Sky. Yeah. Beauty. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let's have a fun summer and let
Win
us
the
know
lottery.
who your top picks are. Win the lottery. Damn right. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a show for that, but that's not for a bit.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Go Flames. Cheers.